The past 2 weeks have dramatically changed the presidential race and the increased paths to victory for both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Prior to the assassination attempt of Donald Trump, the RNC convention, and Democrats gifting the nomination to Kamala Harris, the race was fairly static, with Trump making incremental gains in all swing states and putting a couple of lean Democrat states into the swing state category. Basically, Trump was marching to victory in the Sun Belt, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, and North Carolina, and was slowing winning the Rust Belt states beyond the margin of error in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. The light blue states of New Hampshire, Virginia, and Minnesota were slowly coming into play. With all that has happened, polling won't settle until at least the first week of August, when the Harris hangover begins due to Democrats realize that Harris is the actual nominee. But there are some historic and likely trends that suggest that the electoral map and possible paths to victory have changed with the Trump versus Harris matchup. The two states that Trump had solidly in his corner that now come into play are Georgia and North Carolina. Let's look at the maps that get Harris to 270 first. If Harris wins Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, she wins with 287 electoral votes. In this scenario, Michigan's 15 electoral votes or Georgia's 16 are irrelevant because she will still win with 272 if Michigan goes to Trump and 271 if Harris wins Michigan but loses Georgia. This gives Harris two different paths to victory. Harris also wins in this four-state mix if she wins Michigan and Pennsylvania and wins either Georgia or Arizona's 11 electoral votes. This scenario gives her 271 electoral votes and another two paths to victory. Trump's paths to victory. If Trump wins Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, but loses Michigan and Wisconsin, he will win with 287 votes. In this mix of toss-up states, Trump could also lose either Arizona, Georgia, or Nevada and still win. This mixture of states gives Trump four paths to victory. If Trump loses Pennsylvania and Michigan, but wins Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia, he still wins with 278 votes. Another path for Trump. If you throw in the two states, Virginia and Minnesota, that were trending toward Trump prior to July 13th's assassination attempt, Trump's paths to victory continue to grow. In this scenario, he could win Virginia, lose Minnesota, or vice versa, PA, WI, and MI, and he would win with 281 votes. Two more paths to a Trump victory. New Hampshire's 4 electoral votes could come into play as well for Trump. If Trump wins New Hampshire, he can win the Sun Belt states as predicted and lose Pennsylvania, Michigan, Virginia, Minnesota, and Wisconsin and still win with 271. A New Hampshire victory is possible but historically improbable. While this win would open up several more paths, I'll just count it as one path. While Harris expands the map with possible wins in Georgia and Arizona, there are many more scenarios for Trump. So, by these predictions, Harris has 4 paths to victory to Trump's 8. I guess one candidate could overwhelm the other and run all of these states, but that doesn't seem likely in today's environment. No business college in the world teaches a business plan where you start at $0, raise hundreds of millions of dollars, end at $0, and are successful, but that is a winning political campaign. When, where, how, and on what you spend money matters, and in a national race, one size does not fit all. What works in Georgia, TV, mail, and rallies, may not work in New Hampshire. Good old-fashioned shoe leather, door-to-door campaigning. This presidential race will be a case study about which campaign is able to campaign successfully in different states in different ways to get to 270 electoral votes. Jamie's factoid of the day. Are you still trying to decide whether to be a fireman or an astronaut? There are currently 48 astronauts in the U.S., 28 men and 20 women. And there have been a total of 360 astronauts in U.S. history. According to Glassdoor, astronauts earn between $85,000 and $158,000 per year. There are 1,055,800 paid and volunteer firefighters in the U.S. Of these, 48% are paid, 506,784, between $28,500 and $100,000 per year. The majority range between $45,500 and $88,500 base pay, without overtime.